Welcome to the Villa Forever podcast. I am your host, Chad Williams. This evening, I am joined by my special guest, Gregg Evans, this evening, who is a reporter and writer for The Athletic. So, how are you, Greg?
Hello, Chad. Yes, I'm very good, thank you. And how are you?
Oh, yeah, really well, thanks. I
It's a
celebrated my
it's a
birthday last weekend.
Oh, nice. How old were you?
27 years young.
You're catching me up then. I'm 35 now.
Oh, nice one.
Did you do anything nice for your birthday?
I went to the Belfry.
Okay,
I celebrated with my friends.
fantastic. Did they look after you there?
Yeah, I love it there. I forgot a booze as well.
Good lad, good lad. I hope you had a good time. Shame about
Thank
the
you.
result on Sunday. You couldn't get they couldn't get a win for you.
Oh, I know, it's a shame. I know, like, it was a good point away from home.
Yes. No, I agree. I was discussing the game with a few of my colleagues
Yeah,
after, and we were almost a little bit critical because we're just so
yeah.
used to seeing Villa win under Unai Emery now. But to go and get a point at West Ham isn't too bad, is it? And um, it kept that sort of unbeaten run going away from home. So it was a good one.
Well, before we get into the podcast, Greg, I'd like to introduce myself to you. So, my name is Chad Williams. I'm 27 years old, like I just said. I suffer from a genetic progressive muscle wasting condition called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It is a very cruel disease, and I was diagnosed at 3 years old, and I stopped walking when I was 9 years old. And this is another reason why on this podcast I want you to create awareness of this condition for other people. Also, I volunteer in my local community twice a week. One day I work at Planters Garden Centre doing meeting and greeting and handing out menus in the restaurants. Then also on Fridays I have an admin role at the Heart of Tamworth Community Cafe. I really love it. It's a very rewarding job. And despite my daily
That
challenges I go through, I always keep very positive. And I'm a massive Aston Villa fan for 22 years. I've been a season ticket holder in the Trinity Road stand. And also, I want to inspire other people that no matter who you are, you can achieve anything.
that's great, Chad. And look, let's hope that we can between us raise some more awareness after this
Yeah.
podcast. And it's a great thing that you're doing the podcast and letting other people know. Um, and I love your positivity. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you very
Well done
much.
to you.
Do you enjoy your job at the Athletic?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's fantastic. Look, it's a really enjoyable job. It's something I wanted to do from quite a young age.
Yeah,
Not it wasn't the first job I actually wanted to do, but something I wanted to do when I realised when I was around about 17, 18 that it was an industry I'd like to work in. And yeah, it's very exciting. I get to do different things every day. I get to meet some nice people,
yeah.
and it's demanding at times, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it.
I bet it's a really fascinating job as well.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, a lot of people think you just
Yeah,
watch football and then write about football, and that isn't simply the case. You know, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it
yeah,
away from the football games. You have to do a lot of research, meet a lot of people, speak to a lot of different people, and find out things about various topics that you write about. But yeah, it's always very interesting. I quite like moving away from sort of what I do day to day,
yeah.
covering Aston Villa and talking and writing about different topics. So that's the thing that inspires me the most.
But you have to be very passionate about it as well.
Yeah, I think you do because um, it, there's something called writer's block, which is
Yeah,
when you get in front of your laptop, how it is now, or previously a notepad, and you just struggle to get the words down. Now that can happen quite regularly if you're not passionate about it and you don't you're not interested in the topic that you're talking about, so or writing about even. So it's something that you have to really enjoy. You have to give
yeah.
everything to it, else it's going to become a really tough job.
So how long have you worked at the Athletic?
I've worked at the Athletic for nearly 4 years now. I think the
Oh, okay.
Athletic's been around for, is it 6 or 7 years, and we started a UK project in July
Yeah.
2019, and that's when I was hired from the Birmingham Mail.
And going back to your job, do you study quite a lot?
Sorry, Chad, by study, what do you mean?
Like, as in, like, do you have to like before you do your like articles? Like, do a bit of like
Yeah, so I
research?
mean, research, yeah, I understand what you're asking now. Sorry. So, yeah, each article is different. I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes you have to spend a long time researching uh, various parts of the story to find out little bits of information. So, you might have to speak to maybe 5 or 6 people first before you can just find out one small bit of information to
yeah,
include. To include in the article, and sometimes you have to do a bit of reading on other articles to get some knowledge of that. So it all depends really on what type of article I'm doing. If, for
yeah,
example, I go to a match and I write something from the game, it doesn't require too much research, or because it's more of my
yeah,
observations. I'm watching the game and then I'm writing something on the back of that. But if I do a more in-depth article, for example, a story I'm working on at the moment is um, the multi-club ownership in football.
yes,
So there's lots of clubs in the Premier League that have other clubs that they're linked to through their
yeah.
owners. So that's something that will take a long time to put together. Months and months of research.
So also, I absolutely love your the last the article you did about the 2018-19 season, that famous
Oh yes,
season with that
the
10
10 game
unbeaten
unbeaten
run.
run. Yeah.
Yeah. So what inspired you to write that article?
I think it was just because it was the most enjoyable part of my
Yeah.
career, actually covering Aston Villa. Go when I was, they had such a brilliant group at that point.
Oh, it was an incredible season, that was.
Yeah, it was amazing, wasn't it? And I was just going to the games every week, expecting Villa to win,
Yeah,
and the fact that it makes it so much easier to do my job when the team are winning,
yeah.
because writing about positive
There's
stories
more
is just it's
positivity,
just
yeah.
yeah, it's just much more enjoyable. So yeah, that was what inspired me. Really, I thought
I remember because it was when I think Jack Grealish, he come back from his injury, then after that, we was unstoppable.
that's it. Yeah, the team had gone through a little bit of a tough period without Jack, and then when he came back, as you say, they were just unstoppable, win after win after win
That's
after
why,
win,
like,
10
going back to
times.
like Dean Smith as well, we have to appreciate what he done for the club because he got us back to where we belong in the Premier League.
Exactly, yeah, and I think most fans, most Villa fans, Chad, they
Yeah,
do
most fans
appreciate
do.
that period, and they appreciate what Dean Smith did and helped for the club. I remember speaking to Jack Grealish
Yeah,
for that article, and he was very complimentary of Dean Smith, and he said, "Look, without him, he might not have got the £100 million move to
no,
Manchester
it
City,
might
and
not happen.
yeah, and given the club, a huge amount of money to rebuild.
So, what was it like working at the Birmingham Mail for over a decade? What was that
Yeah,
like?
it was great. It was good fun for me. It was the second job I had in journalism.
Yeah,
First I worked for the Solihull News when I was training for 18 months, and then I got promoted to the Birmingham Mail. It was great fun. It was a little bit different to how it is now. We used to write maybe 1 or 2 articles a day
yeah.
specifically for the newspaper, whereas now it's more of a digitally focused platform. So the reporters there are writing 7 or 8 stories a day for the
That's
online
because technology's moved on
sections.
over the years.
Sorry, Chad, say that
What
again.
technology's changed over the years. Assuming that we've
Yeah,
got the mail.
look, yeah, I mean, newspapers are changing all the time,
Yeah,
and it's getting harder and harder. Um, excuse me, sorry, someone's just come in the
all
door.
right.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder for
Yeah.
newspapers, I think, and it's more of an online industry now. So that's why you see lots of newspapers having bigger online platforms and more stories being pumped out through there.
So, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I'm a big golfer. I'm
Oh,
always on the
nice one.
golf course. Yeah.
How
So
often
when
do you
you
play?
mentioned about the Belfry I was
What-
thinking about the fantastic Brabazon course there.
Yeah, do you play quite regular with golf then?
Yeah. I play in the summer. I tend to play 3 or 4 times a week. If my
Oh,
work
that's good.
schedule allows it. Yeah, and in the winter when it's cold and wet, I'll try and go on holiday somewhere and play golf there. Yeah,
My,
that's
my,
my
my, da- my dad's
passion.
my dad's really into his golf.
Is he? Oh,
He
okay.
hasn't played for a
What
while,
course
though.
does he
But
play at?
I'd say again.
What course does he play at?
Yeah,
What
all
club?
different ones. He's played all over really, like Birmingham.
Oh,
But
okay.
a
Yeah,
Belfry though.
he's a good choice.
So also, I would love you to spread the word about my podcast.
Yes, I
If
can
you
do that,
could,
Chad. No problem.
it could be great. But also, do you speak to Dan Bardell quite regularly?
I do. We do a podcast together every week. Yes,
Yeah, if you could put a word in for me. Like,
I
I'd
will
like
do.
to hear about it.
Yes, sure. You could try and get him on one of the episodes if you
Yeah,
like.
yeah, that'd be really good. So have you been on
I'll tell him.
TV before?
Yeah, quite a few times. Just sometimes news
Yeah,
programs will call me up and ask me to talk about Aston Villa,
well, that's
or
interesting.
various topics around the club. Yeah, so yeah, I have a few times.
Have you been on like news programs on Sky Sports?
Yeah, yeah. Places like that, when Villa are either going through a very good run or a very bad
Yeah.
run, they'll often ask me to come on and give some sort of expert analysis on why or the reasons, for their current run of form. So yeah, it's got
I bet you
journalists
must.
tend to
I bet you
go on
must
quite
absolutely
regularly.
love it.
It's all part of the job, I suppose. Now,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
But you get
as a
used to it, I suppose.
Yeah. I used to be a little bit nervous in front of cameras, so
Yeah.
it was hard. It was more difficult when I was younger, but I suppose as you get a bit older with experience, it becomes more you become more comfortable.
But also, another article I enjoyed you writing about was about Kamara. I thought it was a very informative article.
Yeah, he's been a good player for Villa, hasn't he, Chad? So
Oh,
far.
in the years, I'll say he's one of the best defensive midfielders that's played for us, I think.
Yeah, I think they're going to miss him during these next couple of weeks. Don't know exactly how long he's going to be out
Yeah.
for yet, but with an ankle injury, it's always usually at least
And
a
how long
month.
is
So.
it? Did you say it's roughly a month? Because I was
From the
reading that you said,
conversations, from the conversations I had with people close to the situation, they told me that it would be expected to be out for for at least over a month. So we shall see. It's just more of a
yeah.
week by week analysis on that one. We'll check in each week with the
But it's like
medical staff.
Kamara, that is a massive loss.
Yeah, I think he is. There's no player that really does the job that he does. So we'll see how Villa get on without him.
Yeah, it's always typical. Like we go on a good run, then we get like a good player that gets injured.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? It's frustrating. Happened a bit with Grealish, didn't it,
Yeah,
back in the Championship days, and then there was the fear when Tammy Abraham did his shoulder, and then John McGinn when Villa
yeah.
first got promoted, and Tom Heaton and Wesley on New Year's Day when they got injured. There's always someone, isn't there? But I suppose
The thing
that's
is,
football for
it's
you.
part of the game. It's part of football.
Yeah, yeah. You can't stop injuries, unfortunately. You're going to get them every year.
Okay. Also, is being a sports journalist something you always wanted to do?
Not always. I wanted to be a professional golfer when I was a little bit younger.
Oh yeah,
So,
that was a good dream to have.
yeah, that's all it was. Had a dream. It was all a dream. But unfortunately, I wasn't quite good enough to play to be a professional. I mean, when you're young like that, you think it's easy to kick on, but it isn't. So,
Yeah.
I decided to do something more realistic.
Are you your Twitter account? How do you get more followers on Twitter? Can you give me some tips at all?
I don't really think there's sort of a
Do you have to
I
make it
couldn't
like a
give you any
different?
tips, to be honest.
Yeah.
You have to provide content
Oh,
or
okay.
provide something that people will want to read. Um, it's the same with most social media
Yeah.
followings. The reason people follow people is because
Yeah.
they provide something interesting and different. So sorry, Chad, I'd love to give you some advice, but I just
Oh, that's
my
fine.
my,
Thank you, though.
my all I'd say is just tweet regular,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
tweet
Get a
about
tweet
something
quickly.
different and interesting, and hopefully people will start to enjoy what you produce.
Can you give me some interview tips? What do you recommend for my podcast?
I
Any
think you're doing
advice?
quite well already.
Thank you.
um, well, I mean, the key is to get to get a guest on first.
Yes.
To, try and reach out to people who some of your audience would find interesting,
Yeah.
and then if you do manage to get somebody on, do some
Yeah.
research on them, try and find out bits of information about them, and prepare the questions in advance, which it sounds like you have done with me. So you're on the good track already.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really excited about my new venture.
Yeah, good luck to you. I hope it works for you. And if you need any help,
Thank
down
you.
the line, just shout up, and I'll try and put you in the right direction to people if I can.
Have you been on the radio as well?
Yeah, a few times, but not very often.
Well, I might be going on BBC WM soon.
Oh, fantastic! What are you going to be doing there?
It's with Daz Hale.
Yes,
He does a football phone-in. He's
yes.
going to get me on one of them programs.
Oh, fantastic! You'll have to let me know when you go on, and I'll listen
Yeah,
out for you.
I'll let you know. Thank you. Do you attend matches regularly? Not with your
Yes,
job? Yeah.
yes. Every home and away game for Villa.
Nice one. Well, I go to home games. I don't really go to many away games because it's more the travelling. It's a bit difficult to get with a disability.
It's a long day as well, isn't it? Some of the
And it's
away
a long
days.
day. Okay, if you have to sum up your job in one word, what would it be?
In one word, demanding. Or is that too negative?
But,
Sounds like I'm
no,
always so busy. No, I think demanding's a good word to sum it up
it's
because
a good describe it. I'll say that.
yeah, demanding.
Uh,
Yeah,
have you met
should have said
any?
something more positive, but
Have you met any footballers and managers over the years?
yes, we have to do interviews with the managers and players every week. So yeah, I'll meet the players or the manager 2 or 3 times a week. So yeah,
Well, I
it'll be a
used to
thing.
go to Acorns Children's Hospice.
Ah, okay.
Over the years, I've met a lot of different players and managers as well. I've met like Gareth Barry. I've met Stilian Petrov. I've met like Giles Milner as well. There's a few
Fantastic.
more.
And who did you like the most?
Oh, out of all the players like Stinian Petrov, I've got a lot of
He's a
time for
good guy.
him. He's an inspiration as well.
Yeah, he's everything that he's gone through. Incredible to fight back from that. He's an inspirational guy.
He is, and he was a real good leader as captain as well. When he was back in the day, Martin O'Neill era.
Did you enjoy watching him, Chad?
Oh yeah, I remember that goal he scored against Derby County, the absolute screamer.
From the halfway line, yeah.
And how do you know your stats so well?
There are actually a lot of helpful websites now,
Oh, okay.
and stat based software that we use. And yeah, I've got quite a good memory as well, so I tend to turn on my memory when I need to. But yeah, we're assisted now with lots of things
Yeah.
online, so that helps. Opta's fantastic.
That's it. Yeah, Opta's a recommended one.
Yeah, it's great. Opta, it's really helpful.
What did you think of the West Ham game? What was your verdict?
I thought it was a game that Villa probably needed to win if they want to get into
Yeah.
if they want to get into the European positions. But on the balance of the game, I thought it was quite a fair result, really.
Yeah, I
Villa
think you
played
couldn't play
Villa
without
played
really.
well
It's a
in
fair result.
spells. Yeah, Villa played well in spells. Had a couple of chances that they probably should have put away. But at the same time,
Yeah.
West Ham had some too, didn't they? So it's a typical sort of 1-1 draw,
The thing
really.
is, we always struggle at the London Stadium the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, have you ever been there, Chad?
No, I'd like to go there. It does look like a nice stadium.
It's a nice stadium. It's just there's not really much of
Yeah.
an atmosphere in there. It's quite
Oh,
quiet. It's
that's a bit
strange,
rubbish
really.
then.
Yeah, it's strange. It's a strange setup here. Every time I've been,
Yeah.
it might be different when West Ham play a really big game or a big European game. But every time I've been when they've played Villa, it's been a terrible atmosphere.
Yeah, the good thing, would you say, what do you think's the best atmosphere in like a stadium apart from
Uh,
the park?
I think Ellen Road, Leeds, the
Oh yeah, they've got a
fantastic
big fan
atmosphere
base
there.
they have.
Yeah, every time I go there, I think that, the atmosphere has been very good, except for when Villa beat them 3-0.
Yeah.
It was terrible then, for obvious reasons. St James's Park at the moment, excellent because Newcastle are playing really
Yeah.
well. But yeah, those are the two that stick out for me.
And what did you think of the penalty decision? Yes or no?
I think yes, because you can't do that these days,
Yeah.
and it's always going to be a penalty now, unfortunately. But my argument was if Leon Bailey had
Yeah.
pulled Paqueta down like that in the middle of the field, I don't think he goes down. So it wouldn't be a foul then. I think
You kind of
he's
thought it
gone
was a bit
down
like
very easy.
soft. Because
Yeah,
some of them wouldn't give it.
it's a soft penalty to give away. But unfortunately, if you do that now in the
The
penalty
rules
box,
the
you're going to
rules have
concede a
changed
penalty.
now.
Yeah, penalties are given so much easier now.
Yep. And what do you expect from Bournemouth on Saturday?
I think they're a good side, aren't they? They're on the up.
Well, they've just beat Liverpool.
That's it. Yeah, I watched the game against Liverpool. I was really impressed with them. I thought they got the early goal and defended very well. I
Yeah.
expect Villa will go on and win that game, but I think they are going to be a threat as well.
That's it. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a walkover. Because they're good at the counter attack as well.
Yeah, they've got lots of threats going forward, and under
Yeah.
Gary O'Neill, they seem to be doing okay. They're
No,
not
they're not
down
too
they're
bad.
not down and out yet. And it's quite tight down the bottom, isn't it? It's hard to know
Yeah.
which of the three are going to go down.
Well, yeah, because also that what's his name, Billing. He's quite a good player.
Yeah, he scored last week, didn't he?
And also, you know about Watkins? He's an absolute fire.
Yes, playing really well at the moment. Very unfortunate not to get in the England squad, but I
Yeah.
think he's done. I think he's done enough to show what he's about again. And
I think it's unfair from Southgate, really.
it's hard, isn't it? I've got the way I look at it is
Yes.
he couldn't have done anything else after the World Cup.
Yeah.
Really, he couldn't have done much more. He scored 6 goals in 7 games. I think eight goals is it since the World
Yeah.
Cup. So that's a brilliant record. But if you look at the 5 or 6 players that are in the attacking areas for England,
Yeah.
you've got Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford, Toner,
Oh,
Grealish,
yeah, yeah.
Foden, and Saka. You know, there's 6 really good players there, and is Ollie Watkins any better than
Mind you, he's
than
got a
any
huge
of those?
competition. Yeah.
You know,
Doesn't
so
mean only 6 Danny Ings
difficult.
has left. Do you think Watkins has improved?
I do, yeah. I think he enjoys the fact that he knows he's going to play every week, and that's
Yeah,
helped him.
because he's the main striker now.
Yeah, and he's holding down that place in a brilliant way. He keeps scoring, so that's all he can do.
And he's stepped it up since Danny Ings left as well.
Yeah, I agree. He has indeed.
It's made a big step up.
Yeah, as I say, he's scoring every
Yeah.
week, so that's all he can really do.
Well, Watkins, he's won me a lot of bets,
That's it.
What
What do you have
about
him first goal scorer or to score
yeah,
at
I
any
go
time?
a first goal scorer.
Nah, you've
And
done
what I
well
do
with him
is
then
I
over
put
the last
about
few months.
£6 on him. So what about 150 quid the last couple of weeks?
Fantastic. What are you going to do with the winnings?
And I have to spend it on more partying or something.
Good for you, Chad. Good for you. You enjoy it.
And also, do you think European football is still possible?
I think it's still possible, but it's unlikely, with
Yeah, we're
some of
going
the
to be
results.
realistic, I think.
I mean, I never like to rule Villa out because they went on that 10
Yeah.
game run when I said they wouldn't do it.
You
So
never know.
you never know, but they've got to win a lot of games.
And also, without Kamara,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough with or without him. You've
yeah.
just got to win a lot of games to get into that 7th place.
Mind
Now.
you, if we could get at least top half, would you be happy with top half?
Top half is the brief, isn't it? It's what they want to do. They haven't done that for 12 years now. So
that would be an
finish in the
achievement
top
in
half
itself.
would be an achievement. Yeah. It's a stepping stone, isn't it? And then you can move on next
Yeah.
season and hopefully finish higher.
Well, also, the league is very tight. Do you know the Europa League spaces? They're really tight.
Yeah, there's lots of clubs, aren't there, who are pushing for it. I
You
do
got
think
Brighton,
Brighton are looking
you got
very
Fulham.
good. Yeah, Fulham have had a good season, and Brentford as well.
Yeah.
So that's where Villa want to be. Traditionally, those clubs have been much smaller than Villa, and Villa want to be at least the best of the rest. Outside of the top 6. So that's their challenge to get ahead of those clubs now.
Well, next season, I think we need to go on a spending spree, I think. Maybe if you could get at least 4 players, maybe.
I think that will be the plan. Certainly to get 2 or 3 new players over the summer. Players who are going to come straight into the first team and make the first team better. Yeah, the starting 11, I mean. So we shall see. Yeah, I mean, plenty of time before that, Chad. So lots of games.
And mind you got Guendouzi. I know he's linked with him, that midfielder.
Yeah, there's a lot of players on the list that the management team and the recruitment team are considering. So we'll wait for the summer until any of the targets become clear.
Well, I do trust Unai Emery. I think he's a good manager.
Yeah, he's proven it, hasn't he, over the years with all the tournaments that he's won and the success.
Yeah, like Europa Leagues.
Yeah, 4 times.
Oh yeah, I think he's good. So so Greg, thank you for your time. I think
You're
we're going to
welcome.
wrap up with that.
You're
Yeah,
welcome, Chad.
really,
Thank you for inviting me. And as I said at the start, it's great what you're doing. I hope that the
yeah.
podcast keeps on. I hope you get a lot more listeners. And if I can help in any way, please let me know.